Hello Flosstube, it's Amy, also known as Aussie Stitcher in Texas, here on Flosstube and over on Instagram. I'm here with you today on Saturday, February 1st, going over Flosstube number 33. This is my January update, so everything that I stitched on in the month of January. I just want to say a big hello and welcome to all of my returning subscribers, and if you are new here, welcome. I hope you like what you see. Let's dive into it. So this month I did have one finish and one new start. I will interrupt myself if I pause. I am getting over a cold, so all the lovely things that come with that. But yeah, one finish and one new start, and then worked on another 6 projects. So 8 projects in total I worked on this month. In total for this month, it was a great stitchy month for me. I normally go away at the end of April for a work trip, but I didn't have to go this year. So this month I actually, January. Did I say April? I have no idea. Like I said, I'm getting over being sick, and my fever did break the other day, which was quite the experience. So total stitches in January was 17,196. So that is fantastic. I'm so happy with that number. I will not get that number again for this month in February, A, because February is a shorter month, and then B, my dad's coming to visit from Australia. So I've got a week with him, so there won't be a lot of stitching going on, but a lot of traveling around town and showing him around. It's only the second time he's been to visit me since I moved to Texas. So this is great. Let's jump in with my finish. So my finish is the Reindeer by Cottage Garden Samplings. I won't show you the finished product because I'm about to show you the real finished product. But here is what it looked like the last time that you saw it. This is stitched on a 32 count lugana in the color Hamlet by Under the Sea Fabrics. And here is what it looks like all finished. So look at that. Maybe this side's, yeah, this side's easier. Wonderful. I love how the whites and even the browns really pop on this fabric. It is not the called for fabric. I think that's Mirage by Picture This Plus, but I had this in stash. I used all the called for colors. I did the DMC version. I didn't do the fancy floss though. But so you can get in nice and close. This only needed 922 stitches to finish, so I knocked that out in like a day or so. Love it. That's my second Year in the Woods. I have the Fox finished. Those are the only 2 I really liked from the Year in the from the Year in the Woods series. But the second series is coming out, I think in June, is what the post said. But so we'll see if there's any in there that I like. I do like some Cottage Garden Samplings pieces. All right, so that was whip number 1, 922 stitches. Next up, my new start. I left it over the other side of the room. One moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. And that actually allowed me to have a nice little coughing attack. So none of you had to see that. So I am doing, this is a mystery stitch along from last year by Lola Crow, The Deadly Aquarium. So I've decided for me, I no longer am going to do mystery stitch alongs until enough of the piece is out that I decide, oh, I like this. This piece, I didn't even notice until it was almost near the end, but I really, really liked it. So I picked this up, I think at the end of last year, or sometime this month maybe, and was like, yes, I do want to stitch this. I really do like it. So I've just been burned with a couple of mystery stitch alongs that I'm like, you know what, wait, and don't worry about FOMO. It will wait, it will keep. So I let more get released, and if I don't like it, then great, I was caught up in the FOMO and I didn't start something, I didn't purchase something, that's okay. But then if I do like it, I'm not keeping up, which I'm fine with. I don't have to keep up. But here is where I am. This is stitched on what is this stitched on? This is a 32 count Neptune by Under the Sea Fabrics. This was a fabric of the month last year, I think. And here's where I'm at. Ooh. Hold on, let me try and wrangle this a little bit better for you. So I am using all the called for DMC. I did a center start because I honestly didn't have the brain power. I think that's when I started to get sick. The brain power to try and figure out like a top corner start. And I also heard a lot about, I'll bring this in nice and close. These seagulls are so cute. I heard a lot of people talk about the crocodile and just how much confetti that was. So my plan is, so I did the center start, which is in this lionfish, which my God, the confetti in that as well. But they look so amazing. Like look at the kind of 3D effect of this coral. It's great. Anyway, so I worked my way up and over. So then I'm going to come down, and I did not want to leave the crocodile till last is essentially what I'm going with. But absolutely loving this. Chose a blue fabric as opposed to more of a greeny color. And my plan for this is to put it on my desk at work because aquariums are soothing, even if they are filled with deadly animals. But you know, just sometimes at work when you need a little bit of zen, as it happens. I did a mammoth stitch on this. I did 4,306 stitches on this. It was like I said, it was a big stitchy month for me. I got all my goals knocked out as far as like WIPGO goals, my monthly goals. And then it was only like the 20th. And I was like, oh, okay. So what am I going to work on? So I picked like a couple of other pieces and then they were done as well. And I'm like, oh, what am I going to work on? Nothing was really, really calling to me. So I actually went back and worked. So I'd originally put 2,000 stitches on this because that's what I like to try to do with new pieces. If they're bigger, is try to put 2,000 stitches in. So I was like, I'll go back to that. I also went back to my Mirabilia and put more stitches in that. So it was quite the day. So let's go with what's on my pile. Okay, didn't pile this correctly. So next up, this is one of my monthly goals. So I want to have this finished this year. It is my second oldest piece. It is the White Swan or Faces of Faery 193 by Jasmine Becket-Griffith, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. So I did the math, and to get this finished this year, I need to complete 1,544 stitches per month to see the finish by the end of the year. That is a doable number for me, so that is my goal. Here is where it was the last time that you saw it. I am doing this on a 16 count aida, 2/1 full cross. And here's where we're at. And if you have been with me before, you'll notice I've changed it a little bit. So originally I was doing kind of the Royal Rose and parking, and I'm still doing that in a way. I'm just not parking anymore. I realized with this piece, the confetti isn't too crazy, like with my alternative reality where I feel like I don't want to stitch everything in and then kind of have all these gaps that are then hard for me to see. This one isn't that bad. So I'm still doing Royal Rose. So I'll pick, like over here, I'll pick the symbol, work the 10 by 20, but if there's still thread on the needle, I'll work it down until it's done. So that's kind of like what you've got here. Is there was still thread. I worked in all my parked threads that I had. So I had some over here, worked them in. That's why this looks a little weird. This is just a waste away. So it's nothing to anchor it to at the moment. So I'll still do the 10 by 20, but if there's more, work it in. So I'm not gonna have any more parked threads with this piece because parking does kind of annoy me. Just because of how I stitch, my hands are just constantly touching, but with my alternative reality, it works. But anything kind of smaller than that, I don't think I'm gonna park. So that is where we're at. So January goal done, I am on track. I mean, it's the first month, so I'd hope I would be on track. Oh. Next up, put these away as I go. A drink of water. Next up is, I wanted some, I wouldn't call this comfort stitching, but just some easy stitching. And for me, that is a monochromatic piece. So my long dog sampler, You Belong to Me. I worked on this for a couple of days to get 2,000 stitches. So for Faces of Faery, I got 1,636. So a little over my goal, but I just wanted to finish working in those parked threads. So I did that. And then for my long dog, I got 2,028. I am stitching this with DMC 3842. So a very pretty blue. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I am stitching this on a 40 count verdal in the color Gold Rush by BeStitchMe. And here's where we're at. So I finished up this, I suppose it's maybe a temple. and then worked over here. I did most of this bird. My plan right now is I want to get to the end, just because I want to then start working it down, just to make sure that I'm in, you know, in alignment, because there'd be nothing worse than finding out I miscount, like getting all the way to the bottom, working across the bottom, not that I would, but just in case I did, and then find out I've counted wrong somewhere. So this way, at least I can try and keep in counts a little bit more. But yeah. So I got, like I said, 2028. I have so far used one skein. I don't know what, I think I used Threadbare to tell me how many skeins I would need for this piece. And either I am ridiculously frugal or Threadbare's way off, because it told me to buy, I think it was like 12 or 13 skeins. And this is about a 40,000 piece stitch. So I bought however many skeins it told me to buy. And I've used one full skein, which was over 6,000 stitches, because it's 40 count 1/1. I don't need that many skeins, so I'm gonna have so many of this random blue that I've never seen called for anywhere else. I'm gonna have so many of it left over. Or I can just be less frugal now. I don't need to play thread chicken as much as I do. I probably still will, though. It's just in my nature. Okay, next up is my Hyperborea by Owl Forest Embroidery. I purchased the kit for this. So here is what it will look like. It's using all of their variegated flosses. It's using the fabric that it came with, which is a 32 count Murano. I can't remember the color. I don't know if it gave me one. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. This is a long and skinny piece, so I'm gonna have to kind of come back and hide my face. Okay, so there we go. So I finished that lynx. That lynx alone was like 1,000 stitches. It was crazy. So did a couple of the motif up here, pretty much finished off that motif where my finger is, and yeah, really the lynx. And then just the random color you see down there was just to finish off that thread that I had on my needle. But yeah, let's get a little close up. These materials are absolutely divine. Like, their floss is great to work with. It doesn't really not, I mean, it does for me sometimes, but probably because I pull too long of a length. I pull my normal, but normally when I'm doing a 2/2 and I do the loop start, it's about 1 yard, and I'm not doing that loop start because it's variegated. So it gets tangled sometimes. But again, I'm frugal with floss, and I feel like the longer the length I have, the more I can get out of it. Especially since it's not like it's DMC where I can run down the store and buy some if I run out. Once I run out. It's getting materials from Owl Forest at the moment is not the easiest thing in the world to be doing. Next up, okay, is one of my WIPGO calls. So the WIPGO calls for January were number 11 and number 20. Which for me, number 20 we'll start with is Celebrate Summer by Madame Chantilly. Here is what it will look like when it's finished. I am doing all the called for colors. I do have some CXC mixed in with DMC floss though. I did change up the fabric though. So I'm doing this on a 40 count verdal in the color April Showers by BeStitchMe. I will have thrown up what it looked like the last time you saw it. Here's where we're up to now. So I did, where are you? 2,023 stitches. My goal was to do 2,000. Fold this a little bit. So worked down here in the vase and that mammoth of a whale, which I did. I need to like overstitch. I forgot to leave a spot for his eye. I just was going back and forth and missed his eye. So I'll probably, maybe I'll brave a French knot, or I'll just stitch over one stitch in white to get an eye in there for him. And if I didn't say for Owl Forest, I did the Hyperborea, I did 1,097 stitches. So the white does kind of like blend in on camera, but in person, it actually shows up very nicely. So nice, that's one of my Madame Chantilly trays. I have 2 of her trays completed. I have Christmas and Halloween. And then I do have spring, winter, and autumn as well. And if anyone's wondering why I can count, I don't manually count stitches. Any paper pattern, I do use charting software to basically redo so that I can have it in Pattern Keeper. So I go stitch by stitch. I can't scan it in or anything, but then it is fully Pattern Keeper compatible, which just makes my life a dream, especially when it comes to a Mirabilia, which is the WIPGO for number 11 for me. I am doing Persephone by Mirabilia. I'm stitching her on a 32 count lugana in the color Briar Rose from Under the Sea Fabrics by Stephanie, using all the called for. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I did 3,181 stitches on her. My goal was to do 1,000. So I went a little over, but I was just feeling this in a massive way. Like, she is stunning. And I'm kind of torn on if I want to do the background anymore. So originally I had not started stitching it in because I was just worried about my margins. I don't know why. I did do a center start and the fabric is big enough, but so in the piece, it has, and this is all done in Karen Water Lilies. Sorry for the glare. It has all of that background. But I'm just loving her on this fabric that I don't know if I want to do the background anymore. I don't know. Like, her dress is going to be so huge and hopefully cover up that weird like spot down there. Just where the, but yeah, I've done, skin is 2/2. I've tried 1/1 skin. I liked it. I don't like it enough to put myself through that. But all her skin is done. A couple of other colors are done as well. And it's really just this behemoth of a dress. And the thing is, if I decide not to, I can't backstitch right now because the backstitch around her face has, you know, the background will be touching it, that background effect. So I can't do the backstitch right now. So she looks, you know, just weird right now because there's no backstitch. But if I do decide to omit the background, I can do the backstitch and have her just look more fleshed out. No pun intended. But oh my goodness, I'm so happy. I really fell off the Mirabilia bandwagon because they were paper patterns. And just, I don't like working from paper anymore. You know, I make more mistakes. But then I thought, you know what, if this is all for personal use, I'm not selling these. I was like, if I take the time, and it does, for Mirabilia, it took me, I think, about a week to do it because, I was just doing it in chunks. Obviously, if you sat there and, just committed a day to it, you could get the pattern done in a day. But, it took me a while, but so worth it. There's no page break of, flipping between one page and the next and making sure that, where it's got the overlap, are you in the right spot? The problem, and not that you are watching, Nora, but if you are, can we get a little bit more selective with the symbols we use? Because when you've got like an O, like a circle like an O, but it's not the letter O, and then you have another circle like an O that's just slightly smaller, please don't do that. Or you've got a forward slash and a backslash, please don't do that. Like, there's enough symbols and letters in the alphabet that we don't have to have the same symbols so similar to each other, please. Like, this one has 2 percentage signs, but one has the percentage going that way and one has the slash going that way. Like, why was that? Why couldn't you just put like an A for one? We can't use the letter A. That's just a pet peeve. So I have found that, you're looking at it as I was charting it, and I'm like, what is this meant to be? Because for me, like, the O and the smaller O, one's a bead, one's a not. One was a bead, one was floss. So it was a little easier to figure out that, oh, you're meant to be a bead and you're meant to be floss. But then with the percentages, it took me a while because one of the percentages is all of that background, fancy floss, the Karen Water Lilies, and another one is just the regular floss. But again, it's like, which one am I doing? If you're just quickly looking and you see percentage and your brain just fills in the blank of, oh, I know what a percentage looks like, cast your eye over the key and you just stop at the first percentage that you see, that's what you're going to stitch 9 times out of 10, most likely. So yeah, designers, let's just be a little bit more varied with our symbol choices. There are many, many we can choose from. We don't need to have 2 that are almost identical to make a fun brain teaser. So yes, 3,181 stitches on that. And then my final piece I worked on is, again, one of my monthly pieces. This is Alternative Reality by Josephine Wall, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is my, I suppose you could call it another focus piece. I want to have this finished in 5 years, so I have to do minimum of 2,000 stitches a month, plus what the couple of times I have it on my whip go to give me 25,000 stitches a year. Here's what it looked like the last time that you saw it. I am stitching this on 18 count, 2/1, full cross, easy guide or magic guide, whatever it's called. And here's where we're at, if I can come back. So I am doing this in Royal Rose. Oh my goodness. Hold on. I might have to stand up for this. No, I'm good. Okay. So people, look at this. As Jessie Marie Does Stuff would say, I'm geeked. Like, I absolutely am in love with this piece. Sometimes not when I'm working on it, when I'm in the confetti area. But it is so worth it at the end of the day. Like, the way her dress is coming together. Her hand over here, which we're not going to see in a little bit more detail. Oop, I should really get a board for this or something. So her hand is like there, as it's like touching her other hand from like the magic world. The colors, the way these little lights look like they're actual lights, is absolutely stunning. So love this piece. And so far have been very much on track. Last year I did, oh wait, I'm gonna work on this today, so I'll leave you out. Last year I did, I think 30,000. I did have a month where I just went, I was in a very blocky area, so I just kind of kept going. I'm hoping this next section is going to be a little bit of block, because I'm just in that kind of more the dull kind of human world, if you want to call it. So that area tended to be a little bit more blocky. It has been so far, so I'm hoping it will be again. But that is everything that I've stitched on for the month of January. If you're just here for the stitching, you know, thank you for watching. If you give me a thumbs up, that'd be great. I do have a little bit of plans, no haul. The only haul I did buy was, I think I did buy Deadly Aquarium this month. So that was the only haul. Nothing else that I've bought. I've been good. I'm trying to be good. I have a very expensive trip to pay for. That's coming up at the end of the year. So need to do that. But my plans, just my usual. So the WIPGO calls for February are number 7 and 8. Number 7 for me is my Long Dog Sampler. So that'll come out again for 1,000 stitches, and Autumn Lane Stitchery for 2,000 stitches. So for them, I have, what is it? Witch's Hallow that I'll be working on. I'll do that. And then my Alternative Reality for 2,000 stitches, my 1,544 stitches at least on my Faces of Faery will get done. And then I'll just stitch what I want when I want. So like I said, my dad is coming to visit. He arrives on Tuesday. So I'm hoping to be able to knock out my Alternative Reality 2,000 by Tuesday, because that piece does require a bit of concentration. And then while he's here, if we do have any kind of downtime where we're just sitting on the couch, my Long Dog and the Autumn Lane Stitchery are perfect for that, because they are, you know, Long Dog's monochromatic, there's no changes. I could even do an outline of something and then just fill it in. And then Autumn Lane is also very, very blocky. So those are great stitches. Great calls from me this month to have to do, that they're not super complicated. And then I'll just, once he goes, I'll then work on whatever's left to be worked on. And then maybe a sneaky new start. I'm not sure. I kind of want to start the, I've got one of the snowmen by Cottage Garden Samplings. I've got the pirate, and I kind of like him. I'm even trying, while I'm not a purchaser of fancy floss, I do have some from where I have bought like boxes, like Black Needle Society boxes and stuff like that. So I know the Cottage Garden Samplings usually have a 1 or 2 fancy floss call. So I want to try and see what I have in stash to see if I can put it in there. Those pieces are also small enough that I'm not worried. The other reason I haven't really used my fancy floss is I'm so paranoid about like, what if there's not enough? But now that I have those in Pattern Keeper and I can see how many stitches they are and how many stitches I get out of a skein, even though I don't think those fancy flosses are full skeins, I at least know whether or not I'll be able to do it from there. So nice and comforting. So yeah, I might have a sneaky new start there. I'll have to see what fabric I have in stash. Oh, I do also want to bring up and get your opinion. Hold on, let me grab my tablet to show you what I mean. Okay, I'm back. So, like I said, any paper pattern I have, I will chart and put into charting software so that I can put it into Pattern Keeper. So I bought, I think in December, Winter Moon by Plum Street Samplers. So I did that, I charted that. I'm trying to zoom out so you can't really see the pattern as such. I'll zoom in a bit more actually, so you don't get the whole thing. So I charted this in as charted, and I thought it was a little odd that one of the colors, and granted I converted it to the DMC that's on the chart. It's, you know, it's a brick house, right? So brick house, this is as charted. It's only got these lighter bricks on this side, which I'm like, that's odd. That's odd. It looks weird to me that you would just have these lighter bricks on this side. So I went through and added some, just changed it up a bit. So put lighter bricks kind of all over the place, you know, changed up some of the others. What are your thoughts? Do I do that or do I just stitch as charted? I am also, I don't know if I want to do that giant bunny that's at the top of on the roof. That's a little odd to me. And anybody who does stitch Plum Street, in the chart, so it's got a moon, and in the chart it mentions like use backstitch in this space, but it doesn't tell you like fill in with backstitch, but the chart doesn't have any backstitch. Like it won't, do I just do like, what do I do? People, what do I do? Tell me how to interpret that. That is new to me. I've never seen something like that before. This would be my first Plum Street. Like, do I just, yeah, are you going back and forth? Like just lines? Is it long stitch? Is it back stitch? I mean, it says back stitch, not long stitch, but yeah. Or is it fill in as in fill in with stitching? Because that's a lot of stitching if that's fill in. So yeah, I'm confused because it's got it for the moon, and then down the bottom, I don't want to show you this one again because I can't get a mock-up of it. It's just the actual chart. Then it says it in some of like the negative space, which I don't think if it needs it, at the bottom where like the stars are. So yeah, anybody who's worked on Plum Streets before who may have some advice on how to interpret what they mean would be greatly appreciated. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Relatively quick one today, but enjoy your weekend. Again, thank you for watching. If you could give me a thumbs up, that'd be fantastic. Subscribe if you are not a subscriber and you want to keep seeing content. I do just post once a month. I do a monthly update. Usually I can do the first of the month. That is always my goal, unless it's around, you know, January time. But thank you so much for watching again. I hope you have a fantastic weekend ahead and happy stitching. Bye.